Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where you've come to a special vlog where I'll be giving my Lucky 15 predictions for tomorrow's horse racing action at Punchestown, which starts off a 5-day festival. It's a big horse racing festival in Ireland, if you're not aware of it. It's kind of like the Cheltenham in Ireland. There'll be a lot of good horses on show, a lot of good races on as well. So yeah, that's going to be really exciting over the next few days, and I'll probably be giving a lot of the next few vlogs attention to this meeting at Punchestown. And tomorrow I will be making selections entirely from Punchestown, so stay tuned for that one. But just a quick reflection on how today's selections ran. We were actually back to a normal lucky 15, no each way. It's a shame actually, because if we'd gone each way today, we might have done alright. We didn't have a winner today, but we had some really good performances. Earls Hill led for a lot of the way, but he only just got beaten in second place. And when we tipped him last night, I think he was about 4-1 bookmakers, and he was a drifter up to 11-1. So imagine if that had come in for us at 11-1. So that's kind of disappointing. Also, Thumbstone Blues as well. He ran a good race, to be fair. He was under pressure just before coming into the home straight, and David Bass did well to make him come second in that race, and that was a little bit disappointing, as there'd been a lot of market support for Thumbstone Blues, and he looked like he probably was going to win, but he just didn't have enough today. Other horses that ran was I Like the Option. That was the John Joe O'Neill horse. He wasn't disgraced. He did finish fourth in that race, and there was a couple of good other horses in that race at Warwick today, so that was kind of disappointing. But he just didn't jump quite as fluently as his rivals, and that really told on today. Even though he wasn't beaten a million miles off, his jumping kind of let him down today, so that was disappointing there. And the other horse that ran was in one of the flat races there, Equus Amadeus. To be fair to it, it ran a better race than it did at Foslas, and that horse could be one still to keep an eye out for these bumper kind of races. I think it came third in the end, which isn't bad for that horse, and it wasn't beaten a miles away, and it travelled really well for a lot of the race. So Equus Amadeus wasn't a bad run from that horse. But like I say, I'm going to be doing some predictions for the Punchestown Festival for tomorrow. There's definitely a few good races that we'll be getting stuck into, and here's our first selection in our Lucky 15 tomorrow. Now, my first selection in my Lucky 15 tomorrow sees us go to a bit of a outsider, actually. I'm actually going to tip the outsider in the 420, which will be the novices hurdle at Punchestown. I'm going with Peter the Mayo Man, who's currently 33-1 in the market, who's trained by Neil Mulholland and will be ridden by Niall Feely. So you might ask why I'm going for a 33-1 horse, but I think that Peter the Mayo Man actually should be a lot shorter than this. I definitely think he shouldn't be 33-1 at that price. I'm willing to take a gamble on him, because here's the reasons why. I think, especially over the last couple of weeks and that, a lot of these horses that have been competing in at Cheltenham and Aintree and then have gone to run have been slightly disappointing, because probably they've been running the races too close together and they've put in their best performances at those races. And hence, Peter the Mayo Man comes into the frame here, as he's going to be coming in fresh, as he hasn't been seen since early March, when he finished third in a race at Kempton, and that was behind River Wild, and that was only a couple of lengths behind that, and that horse River Wild came third in the novices hurdle at Cheltenham. And the two main market contenders right at the moment are LeBake and Melon, which came in the top two in that novices hurdle at Cheltenham. And the reason why I think Peter Mayo Man also as well is that he has been very consistent when he's been running, and the two at the top of the market are really there's still a few question marks over them. I know Melon is rated to be a really good horse, and he'll have the great Ruby on board tomorrow, but he's only run, I think it's 2 races, and even though he won the first one and then he came second at Cheltenham in a really good run, that maiden that he won hasn't really come in to show any form. The horse that came second to that horse was Broken Soul, which has ran a few times since then, and it still hasn't won a race. It's ran in a couple of maidens and that, and it still hasn't won. And you could say that the form, even though Mellon did put in a good performance that day, still hasn't lived up to quite expectations, and maybe there's a few things to suggest that maybe Mellon can't run as well tomorrow. And also LeBake as well, when he won the novices hurdle, he was actually a 25-1 outsider on the day. And even though Gordon Elliott has had a great season out in Ireland, and also Jack Kennedy as well as a rising star, I think Peter the Mayo Man definitely has a chance tomorrow at 33-1, and that's who I'm going to be backing in the first race at Punchestown, Peter the Mayo Man. The second horse that I'm going to go on to will run in the race after the 420 in the 450 at Punchestown, and this will be a handicap hurdle. And the horse that I'm going for is a horse called Tudor City, who's currently around 6-1 with bookmakers at the moment. This horse is trained by AJ Martin, will be ridden by Dennis O'Regan. Now, last time we saw this horse was just over a week ago, when it finally got off the mark and won a maiden hurdle. And in that race as well, it actually beat the horse that we just mentioned about, Broken Soul, by quite a way. So that was a really good performance by Tudor City, and he definitely needed the win, because he'd been coming second in quite a few of his races, and to finally get off the mark, hopefully the horse will know what it's doing, and he knows what it takes to win now. So hopefully Dennis O'Regan on board tomorrow will steer this horse to victory. He looks like he's got a fair mark. He will like the ground and the trip, and I think there's definitely a lot of positives amongst his rivals tomorrow. So that's who I'm going for in the 450 at Punchestown, Tudor City. The third horse that I'm going to go for tomorrow will run in the Punchestown Champion Chase, and I'm going again against the favourite, which will be the Ruby horse in Underso. Even though that horse did really well at Cheltenham, the horse I'm going to go for is Fox Norton, which will be ridden by Robbie Power and is trained by Colin Tizard. Now, Robbie Power over the last month or so has been in red hot form. He had a great Cheltenham Festival where he won the Star race with Sizing John in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, which was a really good performance. He also had a couple of other winners. He had Super Sunday at Cheltenham, and I think he might have had another winner somewhere there as well. And then at Aintree as well, we followed that up with Ping Shu winning, and he also won on this horse, Fox Norton, as well at Aintree. And then last weekend he won on our Duke at Ferry House in the Irish Grand National. So Robbie Power at the moment is really the red hot jockey when it comes to these big races, and I just think that, especially when it was Ferry House last weekend, that a lot of these horses, I think Let's Dance was one of those horses, got beaten by one of the outsiders, Augusta Kate. And there was also a couple of other shocks like Jeski as well, which was tipped to be a really good prospect at Ferry House. It didn't come up, and I think a lot of these horses sometimes maybe just you need to look at the outsiders just a little bit more. And I think Fox Norton tomorrow, with what he's been showing and the progress he's made, I think he could definitely step up to the plate tomorrow. And he's currently around 3-1 with bookmakers at the moment. He's second favourite in the market, and with all those connections going on and that, especially with Robbie Power, I wouldn't be surprised if this horse could actually go and win this race. So that's who I'm going tomorrow, Fox Norton in the Punchestown Champion Chase. The last selection I'm going to make tomorrow in my Punchestown Lucky 15 will run in the Lucky Last there in the 7:15, and the horse I'm going to go for is a horse called Stooshie, who's currently around 7-1 with bookmakers at the moment. This horse is trained by Gordon Elliott and will be ridden by a really good amateur rider in JJ Codd. Last time this horse ran was actually on heavy and soft ground in a bumper, and it only just lost that bumper by a neck, I think it was. And the two horses that were involved in that race were absolutely miles ahead of the rest of the field, and that looks really good form. And this is going to be the first time on good ground that Stooshie's ridden, so hopefully he'll like the ground, and at that kind of price, with the promise that he's already shown in his bumpers, he could definitely be in the mix tomorrow. And with the good jockey on board that is JJ Codd, I definitely think Stooshie has a great chance tomorrow at 7-1. But anyway, if you've got any selections for the Punchestown Festival, leave those comments in the comments box below. If you think I'm absolutely crazy, going especially with Peter the Mayo Man, let us know as well in the comments box below. Also, just a couple of things I want to say. You can also follow us on Twitter with LuckyLoaders15, and just a good shout out to William Hill Racing Radio for giving us a couple of mentions on the channel recently. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so gamble responsibly, enjoy Punchestown, and I'll see you soon.